Now you can pick me up. There we go. Ready to go, Brad. Welcome everybody to Hardrocker Luncheon. Thanks to Marco's Pizza again for sponsoring today's luncheon. We'll get started with head football coach Stacy Collins. The Hardrockers go to Canada for the first time, getting ready to take on Simon Fraser. Welcome up, Coach Collins.
Thanks, Nate. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. Quick review on Central Washington. Thought we played real well offensively. Turned the thing into a shootout in the first half. We get a couple defensive stops in that first half. I really think that's a different game. We got to get that cleaned up. Too many missed tackles, too many opportunities on that piece. But very proud of what we were able to do offensively. Got to not turn the ball over a little bit later in that game, but certainly played well enough on that end. Got to find a way to stop people on defense. You can't give up 60 points and win college football games. So we'll continue to work on that. A good chunk of that is our ability to tackle skill players in space, and we need to get that cleaned up. If we can get that cleaned up, we'll be in the mix. Central Washington will certainly be a top GNAC team. I think they've won 7 out of the last 10 GNAC titles in that conference, so we need to continue to build on what we're doing offensively and continue to do a great job on that and get fixed our issues of open field tackling defensively and making sure we take advantages of what we have when we have players in position to make plays. So, Brad, we have a couple of cuts here from the game, right? I think this is Trent's first touchdown here. Again, he's been a great player. We knew we could get the quarterback run going against what they're doing schematically. And Trent again rushed for over 100 yards. It was also nice to have Kevin Thompson back. We'll get Kevin, I think, Kevin's 4th down run up here, but certainly adds a whole nother piece to our ability when Kevin's back. But here's another look at Trent's play from the other angle. Excuse me, this is Rashad's touchdown. I apologize. We'll get him to jump off side, so we have a free play. Rashad beats him in the slot. We knew we could get some matchups on our inside receivers. They play a lot of man coverage, and we certainly like the matchup with Rashad on anybody one-on-one. This is our freeze play. We're able to jump off side, so again, for us, it's a free play. Rashad makes a great grab right there. Here's Kevin's run. Again, you know, in that gray area of where you can kick a field goal, where you can't. Anytime you're in a 4th down situation, a lot of times defense is going to give you a one-level look, try to stop it, and Kevin does what he does best. He's got great speed, he's got great balance, and it was great to have Kevin back. And we hadn't had him for the last 4 weeks, and our other backs have done a good job, but Kevin's got that explosiveness back, and certainly can do some things offensively that adds to what we're doing on that piece. So that was great to see Kevin run around and play some good football for us. This week we play Simon Fraser. It's the only international team in NCAA football, so it's always interesting when you cross the border. You got to get your group of guys to get passports. I made that border cross. It used to be when I was playing in the conference. They're NAI, we played them, and then when I was at another GNAC school, we crossed and played them a couple times. So we'll go up. We'll fly into Seattle from Rapid City, so that'll be great. Bus on up, practice at Western Washington University, and then cross the border to head up to play the Canadians at Swangard Stadium. So it'll certainly be an interesting trip. They're a talented football team offensively. They've done some really good things. They're always physical up front defensively. They played some teams tough. They played Azusa real tough a few weeks ago, beat Dixie State a few weeks ago. Well-coached football team. Their head coach was the offensive coordinator for the BC Lions for a long time. So even though the records may not show, this is a good football team, and it'll certainly be a challenge for us in GNAC play as we head up to Canada. Any questions that I can answer about the Central Washington game or the upcoming Simon Fraser game?
Is some reason we don't protect against a 2-point conversion?
Oh, we're trying to protect against the 2-point conversion. I think they did a good job with the fake when they ran into the kicker.
Yeah.
I'd give him a good.
Looks like he ran clean.
He did, and then what happened with that? He always has some guys that in those plays that comes by surprise. We probably schematically have a little bit of a gap there. I know their special teams coordinator well. He's dang good, and he took advantage of an opportunity, and I thought they did a great job on that play. Yeah. Clear?
How did it feel to coach against some of the players you recruited into Central Washington?
Yeah, it was neat seeing those guys. A lot of those guys, because I've been out of there for a few years. A lot of them were upperclassmen, so juniors and seniors. So guys that were probably part of that last recruiting class I was at were young kids. So it was good to see a group of those guys and talk to them, see how much they've matured, grown up, and I think that's always neat in the big picture of things. And those guys are great kids. They're going to walk out there with a degree. They played a lot of football, and so it's certainly neat to see that.
Any changes scheme-wise defensively?
It's not so much scheme when you look at it. I mean, we've made some schematic changes, and you're certainly limited. You know, I think the more you change things, sometimes that digs you in a deeper hole. When you really look at what we're doing defensively, we have to execute. And that's execution of really open field tackling. If you take the Humboldt State game and you take the Central Washington game, certainly you're going to go look back at all your calls, and there's ones you're going to have back. Anytime there's 90 plays on one side of the ball, 85, 90 plays, there's some calls you want back and you want to change and do that, but we've got to do a better job of executing space. I mean, there's multiple times that you're looking at a 3 to 5 yard gain that turns into a 40 or 50 yard gain, and that can't happen. We need to be able to, make sure we're aligned correctly, and once we're aligned correctly, and most of the time we are aligned, a few times on those bubble screens, we got out leveraged with some motion stuff, but we've got to make plays in space. You got to tackle in space, and we've continued to work the tackling piece on that end. That's always a fine line. You got to be careful with that, especially with concussion piece and those things, but you got to be able to tackle live in space, and you got to be able to tackle good athletes. And credit Humboldt State and Central Washington, they have good athletes in space. When you look at Division II football, those guys are good players. Jordan Todd, the running back, was the GNAC Freshman of the Year. He's a very good player. Jesse Zalk, slot receiver for him, that had a heck of a game against us in the return game and out in receiving. It's the same deal. They're good football players in space, and we got to do a better job of making those plays. And instead of it being a long gain or something that's going to break us and allow that many points, we got to make a tackle, live the play another down. And then when we have our chances to make big plays, and I can count multiple times where we have edge pressure that's coming free, we got to make that play, because not only is it a sack, sometimes it's a turnover. And the biggest difference we have probably defensively this year from last year is the amount of turnovers. I think we finished 5th in the nation in turnovers caused a year ago. This year we're not doing that, and turnovers turn into points. And so we've got to make sure those two things, we're tackling better in space, we continue to work on that. We're certainly going to tweak and turn the scheme as much as we can, but really when you have breakdowns like that, it's not as much schematical. If it was just as simple as switching to a different front or a different coverage, those are pretty easy things to fix. It's more of making sure we're disciplined in everything we're doing, we're aligned right, we're playing hard, and I think we're playing hard, I really do. I don't think we're not playing hard, but we've got to make plays in space. And I counted over 30 times we're one-on-one in space, and we don't make the tackle, and that's not good enough. So we got to get that correct. Good. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.
Hardrocker cross country team's been off for a little while now. Team's getting ready to get back out and compete. We'll get a preview from head coach Steve Johnson.
Thanks, Nate. Yeah, it's been a long couple weeks. We went to Griak. That was our last meet at the end of September, and so here we are. We've got a long trip down to Hays, Kansas coming up. We're going to go down. They're having a meet. They're going to have about 35 teams. They actually split it up into 2 men's races and 2 women's races, and they've got 3 nationally ranked top 10 teams. We've got 4 of the top 10 teams in our region coming in, including the top 3 men's and women's teams in our conference. And so this is going to be a great test for us. Just an even better test for us because there are 9 teams, 9 other teams besides us from the conference that are coming up. So we're going to get a great opportunity here to see where we sit in the RMAC at this point. This is going to be a great test for us and a great measuring stick as we move forward. They've got it's a 3-year-old course down there. It's a dedicated cross-country course, so they've got a nice little setup. It's actually over in Victoria, Kansas, just about 10 miles to the east. And so this will be a fun one for us. We're looking forward to getting the opportunity to see how we stack up against the conference. Are there any questions I can answer? All right, thanks, guys.
Hardrocker soccer team, I believe the last 2 home matches coming up for the Hardrocker soccer team. They've been blessed with pretty nice weather, and looking forward to this week as well. Head coach Joe Berger, welcome him up.
Thanks for having me. It was a good week for us, even though the results maybe not show it. We played a Simon Fraser team that was the Final Four team last year for the NCAA, and to hold them to 3 goals was a real accomplishment for us. You know, our boys are still playing hard and competing and fighting, and I will definitely have a clip that will show you that our guys haven't quit and are still determined to get better. You know, the beauty of it is we have some great leadership. The junior guys, and then Blake Harris, our senior, are definitely leading by example and leading by pride. And you know, it's hard. I don't have to say very much to motivate these young men, and the way they represent me, Coach Cadlick, the institution, and our community is fantastic. You know, one thing that I did the little stats tonight, we're going to show you a goal here in a minute, Michael McGraw goal, which was definitely a team goal. But this young man, I didn't realize it until today, he scored 13 goals in his 3-year career here, which is kind of amazing, thinking, you know, we haven't scored a lot of goals in our history, and he's got 5 this year, and it just kind of tells you about the strides of this young man, is that we're really trying to develop our players with a goal. You know, I came in here with a 6-year plan, and we're on year 3, and I think we're ahead of it. So that's good. On Saturday, we lost an absolute heartbreaker. Western Washington has our number a little bit at home. Last year they beat us with 11 seconds in regulation. This year we lost with 5.4 seconds left in the second overtime. We had a couple freshmen just made a little bit of mistake, not really maybe understanding the rules and how the clock works and everything, just kind of afraid to make a mistake. But man, it was a great effort by our guys, and we're lucky that the GNAC is a double round robin. We get to start our second 7 games through the conference, and I think our guys are playing with confidence, and I think there are some teams that are afraid to play us, so I think that is a good thing. We play Thursday at 7 o'clock versus Billings, and then we play Saturday at 7 o'clock versus Northwest Nazarene. Now let's see some highlights. This is our goal on Saturday. It's a very good team goal. It actually starts with our goalkeeper. With a pump, we're able to win it. We do a good job of getting it and holding it. We find the ball wide, and Jake Smith, a naturally right-footed player, plays a great service in with his left foot, and then there's Big Mike McGraw. I don't know if you know Big Mike. He is 6'4" and about 230, so he's a handful for anybody, but doesn't get much better than this. This is our freshman goalie coming up with a big save. Really outstretched, reaching in on a good header from them. And then this clip just kind of shows the tenacity of our team. Western Washington was on us a little bit, and just shows the fight. Blake Harris just comes in, we're scrapping a fight. He just lays it on the line, sells out, planned to block a shot to protect our goalkeeper. So you can see from these 3 clips that we are still playing with determination. We're still able to play good soccer, and I think the future is bright. As much as I want the future to be today, I still think we have to keep grinding it out and keep improving our players. We still started 5 freshmen. And one day I would like to say we start no freshmen. And then we can keep developing them and get them earlier. But, you know, I can't be much more proud of young men with their heart. A lot of kids could have quit. We haven't quit. And I think that, you know, I think it'll be good to get on the road and go through our last hurrah in the GNAC before we enter the RMAC conference. And, you know, I think we'll get a couple results. I think if we get 2 or 3 results on the road, I think it'll do a lot moving our team forward. I think we're very capable of that. So, any questions for me? All right, thank you guys. Enjoy the day.
Thanks, Coach. As we wrap up today, quick note, next week, Hardrocker Lunch is going to be Friday. We're going to move it to Friday just next week only. It'll be right back here in the Christensen Hall of Fame. And I want to thank Marco's Pizza again for sponsoring today. Good luck to all the coaches and the programs this week. We'll see you back here next week. Thanks for coming.
Give them It's about a 2-hour drive from Vancouver.
Where is it?
Burnaby, which is, it's a supplement thing. Oh, it is Vancouver.